So obviously, thanks for doing this with me, Dan. Obviously, breaking news this morning: Thomas Tuchel is sacked by Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
What were your immediate thoughts when you saw it? Were you shocked as
Well,
I think everyone else was?
yeah, very shocked. So I got one of my WhatsApp groups. They went, Tuchel's gone. I was like, nah, can't be. So I went to the Chelsea website, and sure enough, he's
Mm,
gone. Um, Much earlier than anticipated. I mean, it's especially as they got Aubameyang on transfer deadline day. I thought, you know what, he's going to get a bit of time. But then you kind of look at the bigger picture. You think, well, really since the sanctions came in place, and yes, he and Emma Hayes were fantastic throughout the whole process because the only people at the club who were talking to the media. They did very well. But the football's been really poor, really turgid. Has been for back in the last season, beginning of this season, and clearly the club felt that he couldn't turn it around.
mm,
The performance against Zagreb last night, I don't know if you watched the game, absolutely really poor. I mean, we don't
mm.
have a divine right for the matches, and I accept that we will lose matches, but I want to lose with a bit of fight, a bit of heart, a bit of desire. There's none of that on show yesterday.
Yeah,
They were starting quite well then. As soon as they scored, you think this team's got no balls. This team ain't going to turn it around. And a lot of side to side, backwards, forwards. Didn't make the keeper make a save. It's just really disappointing. And I think the new owners have been on site for 100 days now, give or take. They thought, you know what, we've done our review. They got rid of Bruce Marine and Peter Cech pretty quickly. I thought, you know what, Tuchel's not our man. We need to get our person who's going to share the vision and wants to take the club forward. It's a Brownrich style ruthlessness by the Bobby and co. But I don't think this will be. I think this will be an anomaly rather than a regular occurrence. I think they're going to, if it is Graham Potter, which we think it will be, I think he'll get a bit of time to build a team, to play some really nice attacking football. He's a very progressive coach. He's done at Swansea, Brighton. He's improved them. He only got to turn Cucurella from a £50 million player into a £60 million player.
yeah,
So he's a good coach. He's bright. He's smart. He's articulate. He's a
yeah,
real a modern coach, which is what we want. And if we're going to build a project similar to what Klopp at Liverpool, Guardiola at City, you want the owners to have their main man in. And then Tuchel's great. He won us the Champions League within 6 months. Only a year ago, we just played some beautiful football and beating Juventus 4-0.
yeah,
Injuries. We didn't really recover from losing Chilwell and Reece James, a big part of last season. We limped over the line ultimately to get top spot. We lost 2 domestic cup finals on penalties. It was surprising it was so early, but I reckon they probably would have come a point because the 3 away games of the season was so bad.
yeah,
You wonder how much longer they're going to put up for it. And there's always this conspiracy theorist that maybe they were buying players for a new manager as opposed to the ones Tuchel wanted.
yeah,
The fact that certain players were on loan, like Ampadu has gone on loan, Callum Hudson-Odoi has both gone on loan. Both players wanted out, and both players probably weren't going to play under Tuchel, so they've got those to come back. So they're both still Callum Hudson-Odoi is still young, still got huge potential.
yeah,
And Padua has got a future. Billy Gilmore, not as convinced that the hype around him. I thought he was decent, but he's had 3 good games. He couldn't get into a Norwich team that was relegated. Maybe he isn't quite good enough to be at that absolute top level, and that's just my own personal viewpoint. And they made a decision. They spent £2.5 billion on it. If they don't feel Tuchel's the right man, then it's a cutthroat industry, and that's what's going to happen. And we thank him. He came in after Lampard handled himself superbly. He realised that Chelsea legend replacing his man, he was going to be big shoes to fill. But he did himself to the fans very quickly.
yeah,
Handled himself really, really well throughout the sanctions, and he did well. 100 games, 3 trophies. I think he got to 6 out of 7 finals that he
It was. He had a very good record. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, penalties away from beating arguably, the best Liverpool team in my lifetime, well, certainly the last 30 years, to lose the penalties. So he did a lot of good, but a lot of square pegs, round holes with players. Persisting with Jorginho, I'm not his biggest fan. I think when he's in midfield, we're a lot weaker because he is very weak. I mean, clearly the board, to a point, were backing because they carted off Lukaku.
Yeah.
Although, or you may argue that Bowley's had a look at the kind of the bigger picture. What, Lukaku's trouble? Let's get him out.
Yeah.
So I don't think Tuchel wants to work with him anyway. Got rid of Timo Werner. did he want Fofana? Did he want Koulibaly? We don't know.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
certainly going to Aubameyang, but then you look at the market now. Who are Chelsea going to get that's cheap, short term? Aubameyang's probably a good choice. He's a pro and goal scorer.
yeah, yeah.
All the stuff that comes with him, with his the Arsenal documentary, his attitude.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just Arsenal. I don't know. So it's never quite meant being a Chelsea fan.
What do you? So obviously, you've given your sort of personal view on the decision to sack him. What do you think the sort of general consensus is from the fan base of the decision? From what I've seen on social media and things, he's probably one of the most loved Chelsea managers from what I've seen in sort of recent times.
I think he was. He gave us the Champions League, and he was so engaging for so much of his time. I mean, for my kind of friendship group and stuff, from my people like I drink with, they're all kind of shocked this happened so soon. Bigger picture that, well, this bad form goes back 6 months, and what 20, 25 matches.
Yeah.
Not a lot of managers survive that. So he'll be missed because what he delivered, but we get used to it with Chelsea. We bring in manager.
Yeah.
We bring in proper like Hollywood managers, and they do well for short term. They get sacked. This is the first time, albeit on a different regime, we've gone down a different route. We've gone to a good manager, but not a superstar manager. So he's assuming we're going to get obviously.
So Potter's the man for you. Then you think he's the right man for the job?
Well, I think so. He plays good progressive football. I don't think Pochettino's wouldn't be my choice because he famously didn't do anything at Spurs. He came very close.
Yeah.
They won a few fake trophies. Two season champions and whatever.
Yeah.
And he went to Paris Saint-Germain, which is probably one of the least competitive leagues in Europe, and he only won the league, 1 year out of 2. And you think you're Paris Saint-Germain, you've got to win the league minimum.
I don't know. What was it? His Champions League record. Oh, he got to the final. You got to the final.
Spurs lost to Liverpool. But then he got 7-2 by Bayern Munich in one game. I think he got to the quarters with Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, of course, it was Tuchel that got PSG to the final, wasn't it? I was thinking it was that Poch, but I
think he's a good manager.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
He hasn't got a trophy track record, and the argument is Potter hasn't got Champions League experience. Well, Roberto Di Matteo came in as an interim coach, hadn't managed the Champions League, and took us to the title. Now, you may argue that he had a team of like Lampard, Drogba's, Coles, Czechs behind him.
Yeah,
but, you give him a chance. I mean, he can't do. If you don't make Champions League, then 38 game season is based. You finish where you are. If you finish 6th after 38 game season, that's because you had a shit season. Not good. So he plays progressive football. He's a smart coach. He's young, articulate.
Yeah.
If he gets time, I think he could be a good asset for us.
Yeah. One of the other things I saw was sort of people saying that we basically let go of the third best manager. Well, Chelsea basically let go of the third best manager in the league, probably sort of around that top 5 argument in managers in the world. But on the other hand, you could say, well, Potter could easily come in and prove himself to be up and around that conversation, maybe after a couple of years. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, you say he's third best manager, but he's not performing. I mean, Chelsea got Mourinho twice, Ancelotti, Conte, listen, great, all gone, all being gone, all were successful. But I think if Abramovich was still here, he probably would have gone in the summer. I don't think they would have tolerated it, even though we've got Champions League. I think they would have gone for a new manager then. I don't know. I mean, he's a great manager.
Yeah.
I think maybe he got a bit. I don't know. Just
things got a bit stale, maybe.
Stale. The body language wasn't great. The players weren't particularly happy from what I've heard. Certain players weren't enjoying themselves because of his training methods and some of his pre-game preps and so on and so forth.
Do you think moving forward then, because obviously, as we've spoken about, it was quite a sort of swift decision, it seemed, even though there was rumours that it had maybe been planned for a little while. Obviously, the Todd Bowley's clear out of the sort of back room. sort of regime and things. There was a few rumors going around I saw this morning sort of suggesting that they maybe planned to sort of, when they got the opportunity to move Tuchel on, that they would anyway. But obviously it's come as quite a sort of swift decision. Do you
Yeah.
think the new ownership will this will how they'll be, or do you think they will sort of this is a one-off and they'll start to operate
I
more
think
long
this is a
term?
one. I think this is a one-off. I think they'll be. If you look at the LA Dodgers in the States, they've had the same coach for, I think it's 7.5, 8 years now,
Oh,
and
wow.
Dodgers
Okay.
regularly at the top end of the baseball, always pretty much competing towards the end of the season. They
Yeah.
like stability. I'd be. What I think it's going to be interesting because we get to March and Chelsea are potentially, looking at Europa League football. What will they do? My guess is they'll give Potter time. I think that it's a new regime, it's a new mentality. It clearly fits the ethos that they want to bring forward. So, and if they're prepared to potentially have maybe one season outside the Champions League, possibly two, then great. Because we thought Tuchel might get a chance to build a legacy. Clearly, stuff has gone on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Football's not good enough, and he's gone. But that was, again, that was a Roman Abramovich appointment.
Yeah.
It's a crazy world of football. I mean, Liverpool, it took Jurgen Klopp a good 2 years to get Liverpool being competitive, and now they're thereabouts. They're often 80+ points. They're always competing at this end of the season. Who said Potter can't do that? He's got the new sort of pretty good squad. We've got some, we've got Reece James, Ben Chilwell, Cucurella, Fofana, Sterling.
Yeah,
we've got
some great players. Yeah.
Conor Gallagher, I think he plays in his right role, will be a real superstar for us. We're not. We should say. I mean, but just see some good attacking football. You saw how Leicester were torn apart by Brighton on the weekend, and we struggled to beat. We beat them with 10 men, but it wasn't an easy situation. If arguing man for man, Chelsea probably got better players than Brighton. I think even the most pass down Brighton fan will probably agree. So potentially then correct. Play players in the right position. Maybe he'll get a tune out of Havertz, who's been a bit disappointing since he's come to Chelsea.
Yeah.
Play Conor Gallagher where he should be playing, so box to box. If he does go, I think he plays 3-4-3, Potter, doesn't he, from memory?
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, he seems to like to switch it up quite a lot, doesn't he? Sort of almost game to game, he likes to sort of change it. So it'd be interesting to see what he. If he does end up coming in, what he brings to the table. You'd assume he maybe sticks with a three at the back at least for this season.
Because I think Koulibaly has been massively underwhelming for me.
Yeah,
First match. For me, I'd have Cucurella left centre back, Thiago Silva, because he's just a beautiful player to watch.
Yeah.
Fofana playing right centre, and then Chilwell and Reece James as the wing backs, and then the midfield
or
three.
Maybe Cucurella left centre back. Yeah.
Left centre back. The midfield three: Conor Gallagher.
Kovacic, if he's fit.
Got Gallagher, Kovacic, and Mount as a three, and then up front Sterling, Havertz, and is that too many players? 3, 4,
no,
3,
3, 4. Yeah.
So 3, whatever. Then Sterling, Havertz, and one other.
Yeah, I think one of the issues for what I saw, again, a lot of it's sort of rumor based, was that Tuchel was not was not able to concentrate on the football, the coaching side of it, because of some of the other sort of responsibilities that were being asked of him.
Which he never wanted. He always said he's a football coach. He's not a because obviously with Czech going, Granit Xhaka going, he had to get more involved. And he said on numerous occasions that it wasn't his thing. He wants to coach. So I guess that would have distracted him a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you want to be on the coaching pitch, not talking to players. I guess it's if not your strong point.
Yeah.
But he's. Listen, who knows? I mean, one of those situations where we'll never know the exact truth. But I think it's a whole culmination of things. I don't think the Zagreb result was the final nail in the coffin. I think he would already been nailed in by that point anyway. I think the Zagreb. Excuse me. I think the Zagreb result was, just as an afterthought. I think he was probably already on his way out by that. And they'd obviously spoken to Brighton. Obviously, found that Potter could be got, because the fact that. He sat at 10 o'clock. By 12 o'clock, Chelsea begin missions. And by 4 o'clock, he's on his way to London to talk to the top ladies. And imagine if he's not on board by Fulham, it won't be long after that.
Yeah. So I don't want to keep you too much longer, but just quickly then, what with the only other thing that I sort of saw, which seemed a bit of an odd, which kind of also made it a bit of an odd decision, was obviously Chelsea have seemed to be looking for a sporting director.
Yeah.
Do you find it odd that they've come to this decision before appointing a sporting director?
Well,
Do you think they maybe
they're,
should have done it the
well,
other way around?
they're looking at Paul Mitchell, who he worked with at Brighton as a DOF, and obviously they've worked together. Then they know each other. It
Yeah.
makes the fact that Paul Mitchell knows him and understands how he works. So that probably makes sense because the guy they wanted from Liverpool is not interested.
Mm.
Then get Paul Mitchell. He's a good director of football. He worked with Potter, so the friendship dynamic and the business dynamic and sporting dynamics all in place. They haven't got to learn each other, so that could be a really good
Yeah.
kind of double appointment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, that's been great. Thank you, Dan. Just yeah, it's great to get your obviously your opinions, and
Yeah.
I know you obviously are a part of the Chelsea Supporters Trust, so kind of represent the fans as well. So yeah, always great to
Right.
hear from
And
you.
again, anything